Hey, all right, so this is a voiceover, hooray! Because when I was filming, the mic wasn't on, hooray. But yeah, so I completed the pages in December. First up, we have Myth and Magic. This is a new coloring book for me, which is really nice. I bought myself a few new books this month for Christmas, so that's good. Also a few new supplies, which makes me happy. But yeah, so in Myth and Magic I completed this page over here. It's done with an Inktense base, and then there's polychromos on top, and yeah, you can see all the glitter there. There's some glitter gel pen, Vinco Stella. I don't think there's any stickles, and yeah, took a little while. I had to press a lot with my pencils here because I felt like it, not that I had to. But yeah, there's no alcohol markers, and yeah, I really love this book. I'm so happy to have it in my collection. Next up, we have Sorcerers and Sorceresses. I finally completed the page in this. This has been like, I've had like 3 different whips in this one. And this month I was a good girl and finally did one. Hooray! So I finished her, which seems suitable because she was the first whip I had in here. I see the gel pen there. There's some silver gel pen on her. And she was done with alcohol markers as a base. There's also some Lyra crayons as a base and some water-based markers. It was a long time ago I based it, so I don't really exactly know what it was. But I went over with polychromos on her robe especially was a bit of a mess. I also did the background. I remember I was listening to a documentary about the human species or something. It was really cool. Anyway, that's for Sorcerers and Sorceresses. Next up we have Macaron. This was by Carla Magana, another new buy for me. I thought I was buying the coloring book, but I happened to buy the sketchbook, which means that the yeah, it's printed on these really colorful paper. But I'm actually not going to return it, or like I usually don't return books anyway. But I'm going to like take inspiration from the different colored paper and color anyway. So you can see she here is done with polychromos, and it's kind of it's a bit hard to see, but it's I went in with pink, green, and purple, and I finished her as well. Her I'm not so happy with the color choices. I think I maybe should have stuck to green and not mixed in the pink and orange or something. Not sure, but still, this is fun. It was a lot of fun coloring in this actually. It's really quick, especially since I'm like leaving 80% of the image in the same color as the paper is. So I'm just like coloring in the shadows and some highlights. So that's, yeah, it's fun. Next up we have A Million Christmas Cats. And this book, the whole book is in progress. I think I decided that this picture here wasn't finished in December. But it's finished semi-recently, and like since the whole book is in progress, it's like it blurs together. But this one is finished this month, and it's water-based markers on the sweaters and the scarves, and then it's Inktense on the cats, and the snow has some shimmery paint on top. Yeah, you can see the snow is quite scratchy. This is an old work, but I don't know if I'm any better at it now. But but yeah, like underneath there, you can sort of see the blue from where I tried to make it a bit blue in the snow, and it's yeah, it's not that successful, and it's really hard to fix now because the shimmer on top like makes it really weird surface to work on. But yeah, I like the background though. It's done with Inktense, I think. Yeah, and there's some splatters with the shimmer paint. The cat's got a bit splattered as well, but hey, it's snowing. Yeah. Next up, we have in Mythographic Aquatic. I guess you won't really know like what I've done here, but because this is an old finish, but like finish in citation marks, I wasn't quite satisfied with that the tiger was blending in with everything. So what I did was I'm like showing all the areas where I went in with black and covered some of the details to try to make the tiger stand out more. I'm not sure I'm quite done. I might black out like this area I'm showing now, sort of try to make his foot a bit more, I'm not sure. But yeah, I guess I'm just like, you know, as I've always said, I always like return to my pages and touch them up, and nothing is ever 100% finished unless I really feel like that. But yeah, here in Zemlesnova I have, oh yeah, and I remembered I also worked a bit on her. This is also old work in progress. I mostly did her dress, shaded it in a bit more. But there's still only shading to do here, so it's almost done. Like the octopus arms and the details need a bit more shading. Yeah, as I was saying, in Zemlesnova I have a body color. So this one will probably be a few, yeah, it'll be a bit of time coming because it's a really big image. It's this one with the castles and the knight. And yeah, this is in progress, obviously. It's a marker base. I'm going to make the moth glow and the key as well. And then I also left some white areas for the moonlight. I mean, it's probably not perfect. There maybe should have been a bit of light there on that roof as well. But hey. You can also see like the marker base there. I applied as usually really messily and like, you know, went over the splotches that happened to make smaller splotches to make it look, yeah, to make the streaking look intentional sort of, or to make it look less cohesive or something. You see some of the clouds shimmering there. That's the polychromos on top of the clouds that I've gone in. Yeah. And yeah, this will probably be a while because now this was the quick part. The details are the more yeah, advanced part in Tomic books. And this is a color along with my colorful diary, I think. Yeah, next up we have in Sagolik or Fairy Tales. This one I actually finished in November, but I forgot to show it, so I'm showing it now. It's this little deer here. I finished it. The marker base was already down, so what I did was I went over some parts with the polychromos. The leaf and the bag mostly. The deer as well. Oh, and the blankets. I guess the only thing I didn't shade in with the pencils are the flowers, I think. The big white ones. But yeah, you can see there in the fur as well, you have the splotchy marker effect. I like that. It looks like he's got, what's it called? When you get spotty in the summer. Spotty. Anyway, yeah, then we have in winter scenes. This here has been a work in progress for 3 years, and it's one of those pages that has gone wrong in like 10 different ways. There are 2 pages this month that have been, you know, like when everything goes wrong. But yeah, this one has been waiting for me to come back to it. But basically I started with the trees that I'm showing you right now, and they were like this really harsh green that you'll see. Let me show straight. So I did it with a water-based marker, similar to the one I'm holding right now. And I wasn't happy with how green they were. So I tried to mute them down by applying like white, I think white, what's it called? Aquarelle paint. And you see here, I caused this really harsh bleeding. And this wouldn't be like, because it's single-sided, it's not really a problem, except it also bled outside the lines. So my little white rabbit there in the right corner got a lot of green on him. And the little boy next to him as well. So yeah. And then also the white over the trees wasn't quite enough for me. Here I'm showing the green, the area that was really, had like a big splot there. So the rabbit, I had to go over, you can still see that it's kind of green. I had to go over him with like many layers of white acrylic paint to try to color that. And every layer it would bleed through, the green would bleed through each layer of acrylic paint. And like acrylic paint is supposed to be, you know, not really, when it dries, it doesn't move and blah, blah, blah. But still, it was bleeding through. It was horrible. And then I had to, you know, go over the bulky area of the acrylic paint with the fine liner to draw in the eye again. I mean, like, a struggle. But I also was saying the trees. So first green with a water-based marker, then white, white aquarelle or white acrylic paint, or I don't know, to like mute it down, and then over that with a layer of blue acrylic paint. Yeah. It was really. The frame then is done with water-based markers. You can see a lot of shimmer on the page, both the there's some shimmer paint on the snow, and then in the frame there's some glitter gel pen. And yeah, and there's polychromos on most of the shaded parts, I guess. I'm really happy and satisfied that it's done at least. And even though like the rabbit is still a bit greenish, it's okay. Next up in Summer Nights, this was the color along with the background. So I did the tutorial, or like, no, a tutorial, but like I showed how I do a 2-color background. And yeah, I'm really hesitating to show this because I don't like the end result, but I do like the background. So yeah, and I took actually, because this wasn't the other page that was going wrong. So first up, I was like, I had this finished result you see with the black, both in the bird and around the frame was black. And I wasn't really feeling that. I'm still not feeling the end result, by the way, but like, okay, I wasn't really sure. It's not, yeah. So I thought, okay, let me go in with the blue polychromos. You can see there in the picture, I'm holding a blue polychromos. So I went in, started shading the leaves, started shading the birds, and then still didn't like it. So I tried, you know, starting going over the background with a glitter gel pen. And you can see here in the end product, there also is like the stars are still visible, but you know, let's ignore that. But yes, okay, then the blue wasn't blue enough, so I was like, okay, let me go in with the water-based blue marker then, I guess. So I did that, and you can see I went over it later on, but in the branch over there, there's a lot of blue. But yeah, then I was like, okay, the blue isn't working. I'm going to erase all that. And to make, you know, matters worse, here is a reconstruction of me spilling water on the page. Because that's a thing that happened. So there's some splotches on the page. Small drops. You can't really, I don't think I even point them out, but like in real life you can see some splotches, but whatever. So yeah, so the leaves went from the color they are now, then they were shaded with blue, then they were erased, and then I went in with the blue marker, and then I like, okay, this is not working. So I covered the black and the blue with the white gel pen, which created then this really muted gray that sort of matches the house next to it, which was nice. Next up we have another body color. This was with, I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, so this is really fun color along. Her version is beautiful. I'll ask if I can show it. It's done with Derwent pastel pencils and then polychromos on top. And I really like the Derwent pastel pencils. They are wonderful. I'm so happy to have them. I went over all the snowflakes over there and a few of the stars with the white gel pen, as you can see. I left some of the stars with black. I kind of like that, to have some of the stars outlined with black, because I left both the candle and the bottle outlined with black. So like you have both those outlined with black, and then you have the other things outlined with white instead. I hate covering black lines with white gel pen. It's so tedious. But, I mean, I can't really argue with the end result. It's just, it's so nice. Maybe it's outlined with silver gel pen, actually. It looks like that, at least on the video. Why don't I remember that? Yeah, but there's some Wink of Stella, shimmer paint. There's all sorts here. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm thinking of, like, this year, maybe I'll color all the bottles for the different seasons. So this is obviously for winter. I've colored the bottle, and then next one will be in spring then. Because there's one bottle for each season. So here's the autumn one, or the autumn winds one, which I would do in autumn then. Feel free to join me. I can put up some hashtag or something if anyone's interested. Or not. I'll do it anyway. Yeah, Country Christmas. I colored two Teresa Goodrich's designs this Christmas, which was nice. First, they're quite similar as well, but done in a bit of a different style, if you ask me. Maybe you'll find them really similar. I think they're different styles. But yeah, this one is a bit more loose, or a bit less work, I guess. This one was quicker and easier to do. You can see, even like when the light shows it, that there's not a lot of polychromos on this page. The base with Inktense, and then just some slight shading here and there with polychromos, and then the majority of the shading that your eye is catching on, I guess, that the majority of the contrast is coming from scribbling with fine liners, which I'm trying to show here. I think I'll show a focused image in just a second. There we go. So you can see that it's quite messily scribbled, and this is in more or less all the things are scribbled like that. It's just, in the end product, I mean, yeah, the eye doesn't really notice that, if you ask me at least. It's a really quick and easy way to get more contrast into the page. Now, this one was more work, but the end result is actually not as nice, if you ask me. Or yeah, not as nice. It was fun. That's the main thing. I think this is also Inktense base and then polychromos on top. But here you can kind of see the shimmer from all the pencils I've used here. So there's quite a lot of polychromos on this one. There's also a lot of glitter gel pen. You can see all the sparkling, a lot of sparkling. I like sparkles. At least for Christmas, it's just a sparkly time of the year. But yeah, try to play a bit with the light source. Not quite happy about that. I think the mirror should be darker. But hey. Yeah, those were those two. Yeah, I've colored quite a bit in December. It was a good coloring month, I guess. Next up, oh yes, I completed Saguaro Sagner. I am so happy about that. I will put up a video both with the full flip through, chatty version, and the silent flip through. So yeah, but the pages I colored this month were these two, and the one with the what are they called? Santa's helpers, maybe? Tomtenissar. They were not my favorite page, so I'm happy to have colored it. You can see there I'm showing that the paper actually tore a bit there where my thumb is, but you can't really see. I mean, if you, it's whatever. It's good. It's okay. Basically, I had like a washi frame to keep myself inside the lines, and then when I removed the washi, I was a bit too enthusiastic, so that's why I tore. But that's Inktense and water-based markers and polychromos. And then we have Neptune. I really like how glamorous he looks in his pink beard. So pretty. But yeah, this is Inktense and polychromos. I like him. Next up we have my unicorn. Finally finished the unicorn. I think I said last month that I had trouble deciding which colors to choose, and I went with like being inspired by the sister page. So I think I wouldn't have, like, if I hadn't colored that first, I wouldn't have gone for red in the background there of the unicorn. But I really like it. I like the, yeah, I like it. I like that it's so unconventional, I guess. Also, you can kind of see that I went over the lines there a bit, so I think I'll show it in a sec. But I covered that with, I mean, just, you know, what's it called? Whiteouts. Yeah, I just did it. And I'm showing it like because, you know, I am totally aware that like I could have used either acrylic paint to, you know, smooth out the edges, or I could have used or just gone with a bit another color of the background or something. But sometimes just using whiteout is okay. That's my philosophy here. Anyway, last but not least, here we have this final double spread. This is done with Inktense as a base and then polychromos on top. The clothing of the mice, though, has water-based markers as a base and then polychromos on top. The dots there, the white dots that I pointed out, they are basically what I did was, because I did a Inktense base, and then I shaded everything with polychromos, and then I went in and erased the polychromos shading in some of the areas, and those are the dots, the glow around the dots. Then the actual dots are done with acrylic paint. Yeah, the glowing is just the fact that I erased the pencils in that little area. Kind of fun. I probably will do that in more pages. Not quite sure I like the colors I chose. I was going from a picture of flowers from Pinterest, and it didn't really turn out as the picture was, and I also don't really know. Yeah, the pink, guys, the pink. I should have gone for something else. But as usual, you know, pink just, you know, goes in and it throws me on its back and just carries me through the whole thing. Gods. Yeah, then we have a quick one in Flora by Maria Trolley. This is also an old whip that I finished. This is done with my only Albrecht Dürer. No, not only. I have a few Albrecht Dürer pencils. But it's Albrecht Dürer, Inktense, and some polychromos in the trees. There's also some glitter gel pen on the house. But yeah, it was kind of a meh page. It's not my favorite design in this book, and it's not my favorite end page, but it's done, and I'm kind of happy about like finishing another whip. That's always satisfying. Next up we have in jewelry box. Here I have two, one that's a work in progress and one that I finished. This is the work in progress. Last time you saw this, it had only the marker base. Now it has marker base with pencils on top. You can see basically the background. I added a bit of shading and I smoothed out the edges you see me showing there. So that's smoothed out with the polychromos, so that's the sort of glowy effect. The flowers as well, the big ones, are a few of them, or almost all of them, are shaded in, sort of, at least a bit. And then, yeah, obviously I have the butterflies left and some more shading. Then I finished her, my pink lady, she's done, yay! I think I started her in September maybe, so she's not that old. Yeah, water-based markers, pencils on top. And basically the pencil on top is what I did this month. Her hair was already shaded in though, so it was the flowers and the butterflies that I had to do this month. Yeah, there's some stickles on both her eyes, her cheeks, and her lips. And I really like her. I like the quirky makeup she's got going. She could be a drag queen, maybe. I like her. Last, we have a work in progress in another new book for me, Color Me Enchanted. I love this book, so happy to have it. And the whip is this page over here, so from Alibaba. And yeah, no idea what I'm going to do with that, the rest of the design. Like, should I stick to the same colors that the circles are, or should I do something else? Don't know. What I'm a bit sad about is that there's a lot of shadowing with the fine liners, which is a pity because these designs for me scream after these fine liners, both because the liner is really detailed and because I think I wanted the colors to be these poppy these poppy colors, and I don't usually have the patience for doing it with polychromos. But yeah, that's it for this month. Quite a few. It was a good coloring month this year. So yeah, stick around for next time.